If you had to survive a zombie apocalypse with a player or manager, who would it be?
Ooh.
You are going to kick us off this week, Angelina.
Okay, so first question is from Shu Huang. Sorry if I said that name wrong. So for next season, who do Barca need most? We'll go through this like one by one.
Okay.
So, Lautaro or Neymar?
Lautaro.
Okay. Who do Atletico need most? Wissam Ben Yedder or Nicola Zaniolo?
Ooh. I think they need Ben Yedder more because they need goals. They just need goals, yeah.
And who do Real Madrid need most? Ocampos or Odegaard?
Oh, this is interesting because technically they've already got Odegaard because he's on loan.
Yeah.
So apparently there was a deal in place to send him out on loan again. This is a tough one. I don't think they need Ocampos if they've got Odegaard already there.
Yeah.
I mean, it depends if they sell like James, Isco and Bale. I'm going to go with Odegaard.
Okay.
Straight off the bat. Right, Matthew Cech next up. Can Manchester City still win the Champions League without Sergio Aguero? If so, who will fill his spot? I think we know who's going to fill his spot, but...
Yeah, it's... because obviously Aguero is going to be out now for God knows how long. I think regarding, obviously they've got Jesus up front. I think goal-wise, they've got a lot of options. That's why, they are such a good team. You've got Raheem still, and you've got Mahrez still, De Bruyne. You've got two Silvers at the moment, but obviously one's going.
Yeah.
Obviously there's been loads of talk about Foden and the impact that he's having. You've still got so many players that can create amazing chances and create great assists and help players because Jesus hasn't really done that bad. I think he's got 10 goals in the Premier League.
Yeah, he's not bad. He's just no Aguero.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, goal wise, I'm not that concerned. Champions League, I don't see them winning it. I just feel like they are a team that probably needs it. I think along with obviously Bayern and Barcelona haven't won it. Well, they have won it recently, but in football years they've not won it in a while. So teams like them need it. I think City really need it to kind of silence a lot of critics, I think. But this season I can't see it being them. I just don't think an amazing team, as much as it pains me to say it.
But without Aguero.
That without Aguero, are they going to be able to challenge? I mean, at the moment, I'm thinking what they played the first leg against Real Madrid, wasn't it? And they've got another leg to play. I'm not even confident. Can they 100% annihilate Real Madrid in that game? Let alone can they beat teams like Bayern? So, as much as they're a good team, without somebody that you can count on to get those goals, I can't see them winning the Champions League. I think if they manage to get past Real, that would be really good, and see where they place in the competition. Because they seem to be, doing well in building in the competition. They're just not getting to that final stage. So, but this season, I can't see it happening, no. Yeah. Okay, so next question is from Johan P. So, what are your opinions on the shambolic situation at Arsenal? Do you think it is to do with the manager, the players, or the club as a whole? How would you both fix the club? How long have you got?
Oh my God, yeah, this is a rather large question. I think there's problems at every level when, certainly from speaking to a lot of Arsenal fans, they want more backing from the board, more transfers, and I think it is important. Like, people say, oh, you should coach the players you've got, or you can't go out and spend all this money, this and that, yada, yada, yada. When teams like Chelsea are making big signings like Werner and Ziyech, not for big money, I may add, right? No, that Arsenal fans and, I feel like Spurs fans too, and, a few other fans sympathise. It's not like they're asking for João Felix or Mbappe. The Arsenal fans aren't asking for 100, 200 million to be spent on one player. They're asking for good signings to be made. And I think the Ziyech deal of around, whatever it was, 35, 40 million, and Timo Werner, 50 million. These signings are brilliant. They're brilliant, proven international players with Champions League experience who aren't breaking the bank. And I know that Arsenal maybe don't have the funds like the others do, but they're still a very, very wealthy club. And I think in the transfer market, they should be backed more. As for on the pitch, I just think some of the players aren't good enough.
Yeah.
I think mentality-wise, they're very weak. They don't have many leaders, and I just think too many of them aren't showing up enough. They've got an exciting future with the English youngsters coming through, but yeah, there's too many of them that just aren't good enough. Just not a top six, not top six players.
I think it's just like what we've seen recently, like a bit of discipline and just a bit of, and like you say, that kind of person that's gonna, somebody on the pitch that's gonna grab players that are losing their heads and saying, sort yourself out. I like Arteta. I do think it'll be interesting to see where he goes, but it just seems to be a bit of a cursed job at the moment.
The thing is with Arteta, I feel like, certainly learning from Pep Guardiola, Arteta's style of coaching and what he wants the team to do will be very, quite intricate. If, as we say, if it's anything like Guardiola. It'll be quite intricate. There'll be a lot of tactics, a lot of sort of knowledge and understanding, and it will get quite complicated, and there'll be second and third runners and neat little passing movements and triangles. And I think Arteta's almost too far ahead of Arsenal. I don't think Arsenal need that at the moment. I don't think they need a Guardiola-esque style tactic to be in place. I think they need to get the basics right first.
Yeah,
I think that the simple basic stuff needs to be done first, and then Arteta can come in with all this, as we said, I keep on saying it, Guardiola-esque style play, and with the right players and doing a little bit more complicated stuff. But tactically and certainly defensively, they just need to get the basics right before then building on it and, starting to put together an attacking side that's capable of breaking into the top four. For sure. Right, next up, Sean Witten said, if you were Dean Henderson, where would you move or would you stay put?
Oh, I think it totally depends what happens. I think he seems very keen to stay at United. It just depends what they offer. I mean, you look at United's goalkeepers, you've got De Gea, who I think people will have a lot of respect for. He's been at the club for a long time, minus that fax machine incident. And he's been a very, very good servant to the club. And I think United would be in a lot worse position if you look at some of the saves he has made a couple of seasons back. Obviously, he's not up to scratch now, so maybe you do need to look elsewhere. They've also got Romero. I don't really know what's going on with him because you never really hear... He's a good goalkeeper, but you never really hear any rumours. I don't know if he's just happy, living his best life, just showing up every now and then. You've got Lee Grant floating around. You've got another guy, I think, I want to say he's got a very similar name to Pereira. It might be exactly the same name, Pereira. I think it is. Anyway,
I think
another goalkeeper. But I think they're all just very, they're all very kind of mediocre at the moment. So I think Dean Henderson, if United are going to give him the game time, I don't know if they're going to necessarily boot De Gea out completely. But I think if he can get consistent game time and a good number of appearances, I can see him staying at United, but it depends what they're going to offer him. Depending how Sheffield finish, he might, obviously they've been a little bit rocky at the moment, if they still manage to finish in that top 6 position, he might want to stay there. They've given him a great opportunity, but at the same time, there's a lot of people that would have him, so it's hard to say where he would move. But I think.
So what would you do then?
I think I don't know if he wants to stay at United, and if they're going to offer him what he wants, then just stay there.
If they have what he wants is first team football.
There's a gap for him, but it depends what he wants. Well, it depends what they're going to offer him. So yeah. Okay, next one, we've got Pasha the Great. So Chelsea are apparently one of the front runners for Kai Havertz and have already made a bid. This would obviously be a big upgrade on what they already have, but surely one of their other midfielders has to go. For me, it's Ross Barkley because he might show flashes of brilliance at times, but he's so inconsistent. What are your thoughts?
Firstly, Ross Barkley leaving wouldn't affect Havertz coming in because that's not a first team position. Like Havertz wouldn't replace Barkley because Barkley's on the bench, so Havertz isn't going to sit on the bench. You'd have to look at someone from the first team that would be leaving, certainly be kicked out. Someone like Mason Mount, especially in that position. Havertz is brilliant. If Chelsea managed to sign him, it would be an unbelievable summer with Ziyech and Werner. I can't see it happening. I think he's going to stay at Leverkusen for one more season, depending on whether they get Champions League. And yeah, I think Bayern Munich are going to be front runners. He's spoken about wanting to leave on once or twice, but I don't know. I feel like Chelsea would be a good place and he would fit in, but I can't really see it happening, no. Unfortunately not. Right, Goal TV next up. With Thiago refusing a contract extension and Barca selling Arthur, do you see Thiago coming back to Barcelona? Certainly he would make a world-class midfield three with Busquets and De Jong.
I mean, obviously, you look at the midfield, there's always rumours of, Rakitic, Vidal, Arthur, all these people possibly leaving. So I guess there is space for him if these players are leaving. I think they're already looking at Pjanic, who's like 30. So I guess a 29-year-old Thiago that's already been at the club kind of knows the script. I could see that happening. I don't think they would be keeping him long term. I think he would just be maybe like an interim person for a couple of seasons whilst they're ushering in this kind of new team. And I think I read somewhere, I might be wrong, that Barcelona can buy him back for like 25 million.
Yeah, they'll have a buyback clause for sure. Barcelona always do. If it's that low, that's amazing, 25 million.
Yeah, so
I can see him going. Yeah, I think he'd be great.
I think it would work well. Obviously, some of the players that he's already played with before are still there, like Busquets, etc. So, yeah, I think why not? If you can get him, like I say, if that clause is correct, what I've said, then why not?
Absolutely, he'd definitely fit the mould. Oh, he'd be so good back at Barca. I'd love to see it personally.
Yeah, I think before he starts going to maybe the more, not retirement clubs, but the more lower down clubs, I think he could still get another couple of seasons at a high level club.
At least 4, I reckon.
Yeah. Okay, so next question is from gamer-_-BTW. So, do you think that the pause in football has had a big influence on a lot of clubs going for Europa and Champions League places? In Bundesliga, we saw Schalke fall off the cliff, and now Sheffield United seem to be suffering big time.
Short answer, no. Yeah, when you look at like the negatives like that, I could also say, but United are great. So, and Wolves are still doing their thing. So actually, Sheffield United and Schalke are the anomaly rather than the what's the word? Rather than sort of the regularity post Corona. Yeah, Sheffield United seem to be suffering big time. I mean, suffering big time. They should have had the goal against Villa. They had a draw against the side battling relegation. Then they lost to a much better team in Manchester United at Old Trafford. I mean, sorry, but it sounds like he's blown it out of proportion here. Suffering big time would be sort of,
I think they were always going to have a little slip up as well. Yeah. I don't think they weren't going to be, as fantastic as they've been, you're not going to be consistently getting the results that they were getting before. So I don't necessarily think the slip up, if you're going to call it a slip up, is necessarily break related. I think it's probably just
they've also got a ridiculously difficult run-in.
Yeah.
Which means that if people say, oh, they slipped up, I'm like, no, they didn't. They just played like every top team in the league.
And I think they've got a few players missing as well, so
don't worry. Look, they're playing Tottenham next Thursday, so they'll win that one easily. Right, next up, Mihir Banka said, who is the best super sub of all time?
Oh,
I think I know your answer.
I mean, obviously, I could go for Ole. Because
I've got to agree. It's Ole.
Yeah.
He scored 5.
The only other person...
And scored that goal.
Yeah, I mean, that goal alone.
Against Bayern,
The only other person that I just remember always having that name of a super sub, Jermaine Defoe.
He's actually got the record for most goals as a substitute in the Premier League.
Yeah, so...
Yeah, he's brilliant.
Biased Angelina, Ole. Non-biased, I'll go with Defoe.
I'm going to agree with you, yeah. Ole and Defoe.
Okay, so next question is from Zayed Masad. So for Matt, do you ever see a player being worth £1 billion because of inflation? If so, how long do you think it will take to reach this level? By the way, love from the UAE. Thank you.
Awesome, from the UAE. My brother lives in Dubai.
There you go.
UAE, cool place. No one's going to be worth $1 billion. I think there's been lots of talk now about salary caps and all the money they're sort of realising they should be spending elsewhere. And I think football transfer market has got very out of hand even in the last 10 years. But obviously progressively over the last 30 or 40, but I can't see a player going for $1 billion. No. Surely not. Look, put it this way, no one's really interested in stumping up the money for Kylian Mbappe for 300 million. No, I think technically you could say yes, it will continue to rise because of inflation, because of the transfer market. There will be a salary cap or a transfer cap, or also because of financial fair play regulations. You can only spend what you make, and if you're making $1 billion, yeah, that's pretty insane to think that a club could make $1 billion.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, there'll be something else before that. Oh, let's pause it there. I sneezed in the daily as well today. Right, let's get back to it. Yeah, it's you. Oh no, it's me.
No, it's you.
So next up from David Price, who said, after lockdown, where do you want to go on holiday?
Is David asking us to go on holiday with him? Is he providing the funds for this holiday? Because if so,
if you're willing to pay,
one-way
David.
ticket to Barbados would be delightful. I don't care. Anywhere that is warm. Yeah, I mean, if I'm going to go crazy, yeah, I'll go to Barbados for a week. Yeah, why not?
Good answer. I'm going to pick... I feel like we had this question the other day, or someone said, what's on top of your list?
About where we've been on holiday. Yeah,
or where we'd go. I'll pick Thailand.
Yeah.
That'd be pretty damn cool. All right, so you up next.
Okay, so this is from Jack Kirky. I like this question. So, what's your favourite cereal? If you don't have cereal for breakfast, any recommendations?
Wow, I don't eat cereal.
As a kid, I'm trying to think.
Cocoa Pops.
Cocoa Pops. You can't go wrong with a Cheerio, I think, sometimes. Yeah. Rice Krispies, bit of snap.
Of course, this might not make any sense to people outside of Britain with these cereals. I'm more of a smoothie guy in the morning.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to think of recommendations. Scrambled egg or something. I don't know if you're looking for recommendations for breakfast ideas. Yeah.
A full English.
Egg Benedict, why not? If you want to go a bit fancier, who knows?
A full English breakfast. That's my recommendation.
Yeah.
All the trimmings. Lastly but not least, Maceman987 has said, if you had to survive a zombie apocalypse with a player or manager, who would it be? God, I don't even know what to take into account for this question.
Yeah, I've not given much thought to zombie apocalypses. If you went with a player, a very high-profile player, like a Messi or a Mbappe or something their security, I feel, would be very good. So you'd be safe in that way. But then for me, the first player that springs to mind for me personally is probably Vidic, because I just feel like he would take, no nonsense. He would just be yeah, zombies, you want to go? Let's go. Or maybe maybe a Pepe as well. He would take no nonsense as well.
Kicking zombies.
I feel like he would kick.
I'm going to go for Luis Suarez. Purely because they'd probably think that he was one of them, what with all the biting, so they'd leave him alone, and then they'd leave me alone too. They'd be like, oh, those guys have already been bitten.
Good shout.
And if they came close, Luis Suarez could just bite him.
Yeah.
It's perfect. Right, thank you so much for all of your questions for myself and Angelina. As we mention every week, every Wednesday night in the YouTube community tab is where you can find the post to leave your questions for Friday's Q&A. Thank you so much for all of these, though. Have a great weekend. And for myself and Angelina, we'll see you guys next time.